Alright, good evening everyone. And here we'll read some article to you. This article is Port of Houston. Of the 18 ports in the state of Texas, the Port of Houston is the biggest and basis. It's also one of the biggest and most important ports in the country and takes in and exports more cargo by ton than any other. The port is mostly dedicated to cargo and container shipping, but there is one cruise terminal here. The port spans 25 miles and leads all other ports in handling big bulk cargo. Each year, the port of Houston sees over 8,000 shipping vessels and more than 200 million tons of cargo. In addition to the public shipping terminals, there are 150 different private companies operating in the port, and it contributes to over 1 million jobs in the state. The Bayport Cruise Terminal is a modern facility and the starting point for cruise ships in the Princess and Norwegian cruise lines. Maritime, maritime accidents in Houston, not far from Houston in the small part of Texas City, the Houston area saw its most disastrous accident in 1947. A French cargo ship exploded because of an onboard fire that overheated the large cargo of highly explosive ammonium nitrate fertilizer. The explosion killed several hundred people, even though the ship had been evacuated. It was such a large explosion that people in the port were killed and thousands more were injured. Not all of the accidents that have occurred in and around Houston are as devastating as a big explosion. There are many smaller incidents that occur all too often, causing damage, injuries, and sometimes even fatalities for workers. One example occurred in 2015 when a worker fell into the cargo hold of a ship. He had to be removed with a crane and carried to the hospital to receive treatment for serious injuries. In another incident, a barge ran into an electrical tower which could have caused serious electrical injuries, but thankfully did not. Instead, it cost money by shutting down the shipping channel while repairs were made. Boston Port has also seen its fair share of pilot accidents. All boats coming into the port must hire a local pilot to navigate up the channel and into the port. Pilots have very dangerous jobs and have to moor ships through the narrow channel and past other ships moving through the same channel. Accidents are bound to happen, but too often these are preventable accidents caused by miscommunications and pilot error. For example, a big collision occurred in 2001 when a pilot did not communicate to a passing ship that he was coming and he was piloting the ship too fast for the conditions in the water. The collisions didn't injure anyone, but it did result in a major cargo spill that polluted the water. Collisions also occur that do hurt people, including one that happened in as a ship came into the port and struck a bridge over a canal. It was a crane on top of the ship that hit the bridge, and the captain of the ship would have known that it would not clear the overpass. Several people in vehicles on the bridge at the time were seriously injured, but nobody was killed. A lot of damage was done to the bridge as well. Legal rights for Houston maritime workers. The job of maritime workers are dangerous. As the above example illustrates, there are so many ways in which shipping navigations and loading and unloading of cargo can go wrong with disastrous consequences from from malfunc- from malfunctioning container cranes that drop their heavy loads to toxic chemical spills to fall into the water on or onto hard surface, and everything else that can go wrong. Maritime jobs are dangerous. Accidents may lead to major injuries, life-altering injuries, and even fatalities. And if you have been in one of these accidents and have felt the repercussions, you have a right to compensation. To help you get the compensation, you need to rely on the assistance of a professional, someone experienced in helping other maritime workers get the money they were owed. Maritime law is there to protect you, but it isn't easy to navigate the many laws that apply to different types of workers and different situations. You may need to go up against your employer or an insurance company, which will be much easier if you have a husband maritime lawyer on your side. With someone like this, you can get all of the money your own, and which is crucial to getting well again and back to work. And then Houston is one of the largest cities in the US and part of the state of Texas along the Gulf Coast, which is cut through with miles of canals. In fact, the port of Houston is one of the largest ports in the country and is responsible for more cargo by weight than any other US port. There is one cruise terminal because the vast majority of the port is dedicated to container and cargo shipping and trade. Goods from Houston go out to ports around the world, and ships from many other countries come into dock here and unload cargo for further distribution. Ports are busy and dangerous places for the people who work in them. If you work at the port of Houston, you face risks on the job and the possibility of accidents that could leave you injured, ill, or even dead. If you are facing these kinds of on-the-job risks, you need to know that federal maritime laws are in place to ensure you get money you need to get back on your feet after an accident. To help you navigate the system of laws, depend on a husband maritime lawyer. Yeah. Thank you. Goodbye.